Hello, beautiful people and fellow winers, and welcome back, or just welcome to another episode of A Little Something, the number two, because it's two of us, Wine About with your host, Siobhan Camille,
Anti-blackness.
where sips gets real and we wine as we wine about relationships, life, culture, personal growth, and so much more because sometimes you just need to wine a little. It is fourth of the Wednesdays. I mean, this one is for the culture. Y'all know. Um, so we gonna this one gonna be a little controversial, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. This might hurt some of the fellas' feelings. I know we got a lot of fellow listeners. Guys, y'all might get smacked. We're about to talk about preference versus prejudice story. So grab a glass of your favorite red, white, rosé. Grab your girl, grab a friend, and let's let these things get real. Let's wine for a sec.
I was trying to do the smack thing, and then I realized I was smacking myself the wrong way.
The wrong way. Yeah. That's when you know you've been smacked too much and too hard. You're not even going in the proper direction. Just
Bad acting. Bad acting. Hey y'all! I hope y'all are having a prosperous and successful week.
it's hump day.
It. That wasn't planned.
We so corny.
We are. It's the mellow week. It's wine out. Well, not wine out Wednesdays, but wine a lot Wednesdays. Because I wine out on Saturdays. So I'm not gonna say.
They are the last Saturdays at 3 p.m. Please make sure you catch them.
So it's wine a lot Wednesday.
Yeah.
That's what we gonna call it. And y'all know on these Wednesdays we be popping grapes. Call it the popping grapes experience. So during this month of what are we in? September? Yes, during the month of September, we are doing a white September. So in honor of that, we have our white wines. Because we're not doing a white December. Because December most of the time is in white.
We closed. And we
shut down. We COVID. We quarantined.
Not we COVID.
Yes. So because there's been so much going on in December, including birthday, anniversary, birthday, Christmas, New Year's, ta-da. So it's just a lot.
It's a lot.
But y'all can join us for karaoke because we going to sing.
Second Saturday of December, we do our now annual, because we did it last year just to play around.
Our annual karaoke.
Christmas karaoke. Us, wine, maybe a bottle or two of liquor, because we, guys.
Because the guys are there.
The guys are there.
And we will put on a show for you all. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, back to this Papa Grapes experience of Z White wine to see what you're popping. What's popping?
So, oh Lord, this is Apothic Whites. They're a white blend by Apothic. It's a 20.
Oh wow! I'm so glad I didn't get that. I literally had that in my hand in the store today.
I've been eyeing this for like 2 months. I'm not even gonna lie. Like,
because the bottle,
the artwork says
pick me.
It's like very gothic, very Game of Thrones, very epic,
sexy, like it's a mysteriousness to it. Like I'm going to taste like I look. Like
I got some high hopes for this one. I'm not gonna pretend. And then reading in the back, it's got peach and apricot. Like the floral is scaring me, but otherwise, I am looking forward because I've walked past this a lot, and it's the bottle, y'all. It's the art on the bottle.
It is, and legit today when I went in the store, I was like, what did I had this? I want, and I literally had it in my hand. Was like, this bottle is just awesome. But I put it back, and I got the Joseph Carr, Josh.
Oh, Josh Cellars, right?
Wine. And I got it because I was like, you know what? I want to try a wine that I typically see everywhere. Like I see it at Target, I see it at Walmart, I see it at liquor stores, I see it at convenience stores. Like I see it everywhere.
It is
I
everywhere.
see it at CVS. So that's why I was like, you know what? Let me try it. I've never had anything from this brand. So I was like, I'm
from
going
Josh?
to,
We've had a Josh.
No. We had a J.
No, we've had a Josh.
I've never had a Josh.
I'm gonna look that up, but you keep going. So what Josh is this?
This is the Josh Pinot Grigio. And I picked the Pinot Grigio because y'all know last week I had a Pinot Gris. And I wasn't a fan. So I was like, maybe the Pinot Grigio, you gotta add the Gio, will restore my faith, even though they're two completely different grapes. But the fact
we had the Josh, we had their Prosecco. Well, I had their Prosecco, so I brought it to the wine. So you've had their Prosecco.
I mean, that's not. I mean,
that's it. I mean, but it's a Josh. I'm just saying that Josh has been here. Okay. It's still a popping grapes, but
it's still a popping grapes. But I don't remember the Prosecco. Prosecco is not my thing either. So okay, but she was right. I'll take that. My bad. But that was truly my thought process in picking this instead of what you have, and that might have just been the Lord saying, "Here you go. Try that instead." So you guys, I mean, we've had moments where we both had the same wines before, so, but not this time. Not this time. Okay. So here we go with this popping. And then another reason why I was like, I kind of want to start getting more wines with corks so that I can fill up my cork frame. Your cork frame is like twice as full as both of mine because I have two because I'm extra. So
it's deceiving though, because they also, once you throw them in, they do this pyramid thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't like shaken it to even it out. So
I'm still at the bottom. Started from the bottom and we still ain't here.
We still there. Started from the bottom, we still there.
We still there. Okay. But I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna get there here, wherever there is. So it'll happen. So look, y'all. This topic here. It came about.
I was triggered.
Sissy was triggered.
I'm gonna tell you why I was triggered, y'all. This has calmed down a little bit because everybody now is yelling mad and screaming about stuff that's even less important and trying to get their validation through their self-validation and self-worth through like a Disney remake, but whatever. Wine for another time.
Are you talking about the Ariel thing?
I am talking about that. That's
I wanted to do a rant on that. So
I got so much to say, but
I have so many controversial opinions about that.
I've been engaging too much on social media about it right now that I really just don't feel like it, because everything being spit out there, I have a comeback that's logic, and I'm like, but that makes no sense. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. And people rewriting history gets on my nerve. You know what? We gonna switch gears. We gonna get to my pride versus prejudice because I definitely have something to say. But since we're here,
since this is happening
and it's happening right now, let's take a moment.
It's what it is to get real. Go ahead, sister.
Let's take a moment. First of all, I want adults to stop with this NotMyAriel hashtag because it's not. And as a 35-year-old woman, it's not my Ariel either. Okay? The Little Mermaid was made in 1989, for those who don't know. All right? I was all of a solid 2 years old when that thing came out. But it was still a part of my childhood. So, it was still a part of my childhood. So that was the Ariel I knew. The bright red hair. Like, quite frankly, everything else is largely irrelevant. Let's just be serious. The bright red hair is what I knew. I know who King Triton is. He's a Greek god. Do you? Ariel, Triton. Sebastian the Jamaican crab, Flounder, the scared of everything little guppy fish. That wasn't really a guppy, but they kept calling him a guppy. The overly loud guy, I can't remember the bird's name, the seagull, but he was annoying. Eric, the not that great of all the princes, quite frankly, personal opinion. I remember this story and I remember not really caring for it because once I got to a certain age, I said, hold up. He fell in love with this chick who couldn't even say anything to him, couldn't say hello, good morning, how you doing? She sang one song and like, I get that raptured you, but when you met her again, she couldn't even talk. So what's the message we are sending to girls right here? And I thought this at 9, 10, which is why there are very specific parts of The Little Mermaid that I like to watch. Now, y'all, that NotMyAriel hashtag, that's why it bothers me because so many people saying this are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. And sir, ma'am, no, it's not. What bothers me is the amount of grown 40, 50 plus year old men I see talk about NotMyAriel. Ariel is a 16-year-old girl, baby. You going a little hard for one, a fictitious character. That's 16 though. Okay. It's just so much, but I'm not gonna monopolize this conversation. I'm gonna let Miss Ty and Michelle have a moment and then I'm gonna come back in because I got to swing.
Let me tell y'all something. I am probably as Disney princess can get.
Mm-hmm.
Ariel is one of my favorite, Cinderella's the first, favorite characters because of the bright red hair.
Because of the bright red hair, yeah.
Because of the big blue eyes, like that wondrous time period at that wonderful age of 16 where you are still in I think she captures the innocence, but the transitioning into that pre-adulthood thing, like she kind of captures it in an innocent way. That's what I got. Then when I got grown, I like Ariel because I was like, you got to be a bad somebody to not say nothing and make this man fall in love with you when you combing your hair with a fork. I took it that way.
Okay, that's one way. I mean, that's the other way to take it. I didn't take it that way.
That's what I did. I was like, yeah, that's right. That's power right there. Like, that was me. Like, I won't be able to make you love me and I'll say nothing. You remember my voice and I didn't even know that's my voice. Like that. That's how I took that.
Okay. I mean, I get it. So you were looking at Ariel like, yo, you bad for what you can do.
You were bad, yeah.
And I was looking at Eric like, how shallow and superficial are you that this is what did it for you? Like, my guy. So yeah. I get it. We were on different sides. I wasn't looking at,
and that's fine. I was looking at her father like, that's my daddy. Period. I ain't gonna lie. Ursula, if I wasn't gonna be Ariel, I was gonna be Ursula.
Oh, Ursula, bad mama. Ursula, my favorite part of that whole movie.
She said body language. I was 5 when this came out. Body language. That was me, okay? I was every character, okay? Sebastian couldn't stand him because he reminded me of my uncle who was always telling me that, you know, your daddy gonna get you. Shut up! I ain't asked you that. Like, you know, I had some personal things going on with me, but I loved it for what it was. Disney cartoon, fantasy,
animated. Yeah,
animation.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. I love the made up history behind it, how they took from, you know, the Greeks, how they took from, I even love the little conspiracy theory of how this person was this person's cousin, and that's where the storm came from. I love all of it. Like, I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all the imagination. I don't mind that. The whole thing is this Ariel here, where I am all for inclusion. I love the fact that Ariel is Black. But at the same time, I hate the fact that Ariel is Black.
I love the fact.
This is the thing, because I know this is not my Ariel. But I know it's not my Ariel, and the point is, this won't made for you this time, baby.
No.
This is for the next generation. So
and it's okay to have a seat and it not being about you.
Exactly. And it's okay. So for me, that is not my Ariel. Yeah, no, Yeah, I was looking forward to, the traditional Ariel. However, when they made that decision, as a Black woman, I was like, not my cup of tea, but you know what? It's a step for us as a culture in the right way. So I can take my feelings and put them to the side. Then, now I ain't gonna lie. The one thing that I can't stand is y'all parents out here monopolizing on something we knew months ago. We knew almost years ago that they had casted Haley to be Ariel.
They knew that in 19. Everybody, this is the thing. This is my other issue.
Hold on, sis. When y'all start doing this reaction videos of these little girls and little boys and these kids, oh my God, she's Black. Y'all knew that.
Y'all knew that 2 years ago.
Y'all knew that.
Yeah.
Y'all knew that. Outside of maybe your 2 or 3-year-old, everybody else knew that because it was all over the place. It was a talked about situation. Like, stop.
Y'all announced it in 2019 that that's what they were doing.
Y'all using this to exploit these kids. Oh my gosh, you ain't gotta do all that. You do not have to do all that because you're not going to tell me that a 10-year-old didn't know that who follows Chloe and Haley didn't know that she was going to be the Little Mermaid. Let's stop it.
Well, my other thing to that point then is, why does your 4-year-old care so much about race? Because listen, we grew up in the Disney princesses era where most of them were white. They didn't stop being white till Pocahontas, okay? Like, if we're gonna be serious here, and then came Jasmine, or maybe that was the other way around. But at the end of the day, the same way that you're like, I don't really remember the dates, but the same way that you're like, I related to Ariel, I related to Ursula, I related to all these characters. This is what I will also say. Black people have been forced to relate to all these characters based on character. So all this is showing me to some of you people is y'all really can't relate to somebody unless they look like you, and that's a problem. I have so many shows over the course of my life where I related to the white characters because of the character, because of who they were. Daria, one of my favorite shows, and I could relate to Jody because I was Black in a predominantly white high school. Although when Daria came out, I was in like middle school, but over the time, because the thing was on for like 7 years, I went to high school. I could relate. I can relate to Daria because I felt like an outcast in my predominantly Black middle school when that thing came out. I related to her. I can relate to Jane because I was into art. I related to characters the same way that Michelle is like, yo, I'm every princess. Put a crown on me. The same way that she's like that.
Okay. I like that song. We're gonna have to drink.
I mean, remix. Then we did this because of who they were, not what they looked like. And there were a bunch of characters on various shows that were brown, Black, whatever, and I couldn't relate to them because of their character.
Blue, green,
we look similar, but I can't relate. No, loud, ghetto, stupid, dumb, want to fight, all of this stuff, or just I can't relate. So get over it. And as far as, again, your children, why are they so hung up on race that they're she's Black? I didn't listen. Wasn't that deep a thing? I did not look at all these princesses when Pocahontas came out. Okay, because I was a good cognizant 7, 8 when Pocahontas came out, because she came out around 93 to 95. I want to say. I didn't go, oh, Native American. And please, for those who
I did.
Okay, but you were also slightly older than me. But this is my point. I was like 7, you were like 10. Yes, the world had told you about race and instructed you. That's my thing, like you say, with these babies, because I've seen these reaction videos, including 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds. Most of them, if they are that, it's Black. Oh my God. We have an issue about TV. I have an issue about TV. I more understand dolls and something that's in your face, but this is Hollywood anyway. Stop. Black people and white people, stop looking for your validation from Disney. Number one. Disney
princesses I know like real Disney's history.
Listen. Stop looking for your validation in these Disney stories or any story, quite frankly, because that's still not your life. Even if you want to go celebrate Queen Elizabeth, that's not your life. Even if you want to, props to Nelson Mandela, but that's not your life. Even if you want to talk about, I can't think of his name right now, but I'm thinking of a Native American leader. I see him, he got a whole statue. That's not your life. Like, That person they lived their life, even based on a real person. But for me, stop looking for validation through a Disney character, especially if you in your 30s, 40s, and plus. Baby, let it go. Let it go, like the Disney song says, since y'all so into Disney.
Frozen. Let it go.
Let it go.
I was there for that, okay? Like long blonde hair, I wanted the wig, everything.
And again, I didn't look and go, ooh, Pocahontas native. It came later. My biggest push toward Pocahontas, because Pocahontas came around the era of, because my mother and I were having this conversation, non-damsel in distress Disney princesses. Because everybody in the 70s and even the 80s was like, save me, Cinderella kissed me, Snow White kissed me, Aurora kissed me, Ariel kissed me, all of that, right? Pocahontas, and I think she came before Jasmine, but y'all don't quote me on that, brought in the era of, I can stand on my own, but you're welcome to be here. And Pocahontas is my favorite princess, followed on by the honorary Mulan, because she's not really a princess. Followed on by the Jasmine of Aladdin, because all three of them were of the, I mean, you could be here, but I'm good. You're not going to silence me and take my voice. No, you're not. And again, the best thing to me about Ariel was Ursula. Just, I'm gonna be honest, her whole song was great, but her whole song also made me look at dudes like, yo, she who holds her tongue, who gets a man. And unfortunately,
it still stands.
It still stands. And when I came to realize what she was saying at the ripe old age of 10, I got annoyed with men. And I think that's why I looked at Eric like, yo, this chick ain't even saying anything. And yeah, Ariel bad, you good, do you? I mean, do you? But Eric,
I get it. Everybody looks at it, differently, and that's why I said I can understand because I'm not my area, but like it's a cartoon, y'all.
And the other part, it's not that deep. It's not. But here's the thing, because these are the arguments that are being told out there right now. Number one, the biggest is, oh, it's a Danish story. It's a Danish fairy tale, and that it is. That it is. We're not knocking that. That it is. Here's the thing, though. Y'all so irate about Ariel is not white because the Danish are white and the guy who wrote it is white and they took from, Triton is Greek and Greeks are historically white. I get all of that. But then where was all this rage and outrage about Sebastian the Jamaican crab?
There wasn't, because it was cool.
Exactly. This is the thing when you pick and choose. Y'all didn't have an outrage about y'all not sticking to every Danish detail. Everybody should be white. So you opened that door. But so don't now, literally 32, 33 years later, that's the sad part, go, oh no, it's Danish. Everybody should be Danish. But you had no issue with Sebastian back in 89. You cannot play both sides. The other part, when I say that's my issue, then I had this guy say to me that it's a racing European culture. Let me address that for the masses right now. Let me address that for the masses right now. European culture is not dictated, reliant, nor predicated on American nothing.
Nothing.
Europe is thousands of years older than the United States of America. It has survived invasions of itself, quite frankly, all these countries, invasions, wars, political unrest, government changes, a whole plague, you guys, an entire bubonic plague. The Black Death came through and European culture still stands. That's not going, the fact that they made a white animated character into a Black girl in live action is not going to topple European cultures. As long as Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, France, Russia, everything else still stand, their cultures are intact. Their cultures do not rely on America, and it is very arrogant.
And I'm pretty sure Americans have discussions either.
It's very arrogant of Americans to think, oh, European culture is going to fall because Disney changed Ariel from white to Black. Stop.
Again, and I'm pretty sure it's Americans who are the only people who are having this issue. I'm pretty sure all them other countries, I know good well in Russia, they don't get.
That's my question. Anybody Danish, listen, if you're Danish listening to this, like born and raised in good old, what is that, Denmark? Write on down, comment. I would like to know, are you irate? Do you feel that your culture is in danger because American Disney has casted Halle Bailey as Ariel? I just want to know. I want to know. I'd like to know. If you are, great. Let's have that conversation. If the Danes are mad, I will be like,
if you are, I want to hear, because I don't believe it. If you are, I have my own beliefs. So you ain't been.
Because do you really care? Do you? Is it that deep? And with everything going on in the world right now, you know, apparently second-degree murder is like non-detainable offense in Chicago or Illinois as a
Illinois, yeah.
Right. All of this is going on, and y'all are worried about Ariel, a fictitious mermaid. Now, the one thing I will say when I saw the trailer, my issue, and this was my issue when they announced her in 19, I said, cool, because again, to me, the race is relevant. I said, I need the red hair though, and they didn't. And that's what bothers me.
It's not as bright.
No. It's not fire engine red, and it needs to be fire engine red. That's how I feel. My only gripe is that her hair is not fire engine red. I don't care about anything else. Her hair is not fire engine red. I don't care if you're going to make her Asian, purple, pink, green, blue, black, brown, white again.
It was the hair.
It had to be red. If you casted a black-haired white woman, I still was going to be like, who is that?
But like, even in that, like, in still, like, I feel like Ariel, if nothing else, the fire red head gave your gingers a princess.
It did.
So if anybody should be upset, it should be the natural born red. Okay.
But the natural born Danish redheads, though, because apparently, let's remember that it's a Danish story. So I'm sorry, all you Irish glasses out there, because y'all are like, when I think of red hair, that's who I think about. But apparently, y'all can't really be that mad because it's a Danish story. So even still, had they casted you Irish last, they'd have still been going against the original, and we gotta stick to whatever it is. My other thing is then, I'm like, where was this outrage when British Emma Watson played French Belle? I'll wait. Since it's all about the culture, that's not the same culture.
At all.
France and Britain are not the same culture.
Are not the same.
Not the same language, not the same food.
Not the same history, nothing.
No. And they actually may have gone to war with each other a couple times. Yes. I really don't know. But like, they're not the same. So where was this outrage?
But for reference, Pocahontas came out in 95 and Aladdin, the first one came out in 92. So
Jasmine came out in 92. Okay, yeah. So Jasmine was the leader of the strong and the ethnic princesses. We appreciate her.
Yeah. I like Jasmine because she had a tiger. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, man. Listen. And I like Jasmine because she told Jafar, I will not.
I was like, Raja. And I was like, yes. Ooh.
My favorite moment in Aladdin is when she was holding the apple for Jafar because she was in change. And he was like, a beautiful, and spit on her. She was like, I don't know why that small part always made me laugh. Like, yo, you want to punch him in the throat, don't you? That's what they.
Jasmine, because her eyebrows said it all. The Rock was not the first person to do the people's eyebrows.
He wasn't.
It was Jasmine.
It was
Jasmine.
The other thing I loved about Jasmine was I guess I related to Jasmine because she was like, I'm not getting married and I'm not marrying any of them, and you got the wrong one. And I was like,
she was like, why can't I pick? You know what? I'm gonna go out here and pretend to be
a regular schmegula-degula.
Regular degula schmegula out here in these streets. Before I do this, which daddy.
You done lost your mind.
Man. Come on, man. But anyway, y'all.
And then when she called Aladdin in a lie, she called him on it. I was like, I was here for it.
When I say she caught this man, it was like, she did the.
She did that. I'ma wait. Oh, you still lying.
Let me show you. I got wits with me. Like, I'm not just your ditzy princess. Let me show you. I got.
She set him up. Let me tell you, Jasmine set him up because he was like, "Oh yeah." She was like, "Mm-hmm." So must be crazy to be out here without Abu. Oh no, Abu's good. He's chilling. I mean, I was like, bruh, you caught. Just let it go.
Let it go. Let it go.
Go. Just
Like,
let it.
it was that. But Pocahontas for me was, and it sounds so wrong, the hair.
No, it is. It is.
Ariel's hair in the water, like it was, that's another reason why the color is a thing, because when it flowed in the water, like it
You can
flowed
see it
on its own, like it had its own personality, like it was the hair, you know, until Pocahontas and how the animation was so detailed. When the wind blew, it like had its own thing, but it had like its strings, like it wasn't perfect. It was like, ooh, I was like, yeah. So it was a thing.
Those were the defiant princesses, and I loved them for it. As me being me, while Michelle is like, I'm a princess, I'm a princess. My princesses were
brave.
I love Brave. Merida is awesome to me. I love Merida. I love Merida. And let me be clear as well. Let's go back to Ariel for a second. Let me be clear. I hear a lot of people talk about, well, if they make X, Y, and Z black character white, don't say anything. Let me say this very clear. I personally, if race has nothing to do with it, then I don't really care. Like me personally, I really don't care. Because I see people always keep bringing this up about Tiana. Here's the thing about Tiana. They literally say in the movie, and because it's for children, so they didn't go too far because y'all moms would have been mad about that. But there is a line in The Princess and the Frog when she's having a recap, and she's like, "Oh, a young lady of your background, that's coded. We all know what that means, what that really means. Tiana has to stay black because of that line. It is relevant, her race, to the story.
To the storyline.
It's relevant to the storyline. Now, and by that same token, I don't ever want to see a black Snow White. Like, I'm gonna be serious. Because that doesn't make sense. Like, Ariel's race is irrelevant to the story. Snow White, they literally said, the mirror said,
and is white as snow.
If these lines are in the animation, the original, then the race matters. They literally, again, as she said, skin is hair like raven, skin is white as snow. Well, that tells you what she's always got to be.
That means there is no melanation.
Not this kind. So that means I'm never going to be offended if Snow White is never anything other than white, because she shouldn't be. She shouldn't be. She shouldn't be. But the same way, Pocahontas is actually based on a real person. So yes, she should forever be Native American. I don't ever want to see a black Pocahontas. No. Tiana, they made the background comment. That's what they were referencing, was her race. They just did it in a very Disney and PG way, but that's what they were talking about.
Mm-hmm. They were not talking about her class.
They were not. No. So she's got to stay black. Sorry, guys. Ariel's up for grabs.
Cinderella's up for grabs.
And that's
Brandy.
Since you, thank you for that. Thank you for that segue. Black people, because I saw a comment on YouTube, which we engaged with, sorry, that said, when Brandy played Cinderella and they had an Asian prince and no one batted an eye. Y'all, no. That's not true though.
I didn't hear it. I don't remember.
But that right there is the difference. I didn't hear it. Because you didn't hear it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Because I heard it. And this wasn't, for those who don't know, Disney released Roger and Hammerstein's. And let me say this as well. Yes, it was made by Disney. Because one comment to that comment about they didn't bat an eye about Cinderella was, oh, well, wasn't that made by the WB? Disney didn't make that. Disney did make it. They made an adaptation of the Rodgers and Hammerstein's musical version, which originally starred Julie Andrews. Love her. Julie Andrews as Cinderella, but they remade that musical instead. It's like, The Wiz versus the Wizard of Oz. The music is different. So Rodgers and Hammerstein's Cinderella with Brandy as Cinderella was made, in fact, by Disney for all these. It wasn't made by Disney. That's why you can find it on Disney Plus now. Okay, let's set the record straight on that. Yes, it might bother you, but it was made. And for all those, well, nobody watched it. It was the highest watched.
I about to say I could sing every song.
Not even on a personal, whether I can sing or not. The fact of the matter is, it was the highest watched special when it came out.
Yes, it was. Period. And they reran it back to back 2 nights in a row, and it beat the regular TV records both nights.
Both nights. So for those of y'all who were in a cave somewhere and didn't watch it, that's fine. But most American households,
for you. I can tell you every song.
Most American households, or a lot, I won't say most, a ton of American households watched it. So yes, it was the highest watched thing when it came out.
What you need
in 97. We not getting you to sing. We know we can all sing it. But my point is, yes, there was backlash. Because the other thing that we Black people, since this is for the culture, need to stop doing is act like racism is new. Because one of the comments that I saw was something to the effect of, nobody better than I. It's just all these people now and blaming Trump. Racism existed before him. Let's say that flat now. And if you let me say this from a logical standpoint.
What does Trump have to do? From
the logical standpoint, the 90s. Let's do this. All of the civil rights stuff happened in like 65. That's like the age that everybody talks about. It was like the 60s, right? The 90s were closer to the 60s than 2022. So consider that if people are making a fit about Ariel in 2022, do you really think that nobody batted an eye in 97? Really? You really think nobody batted an eye? The difference is, and here's the big difference, social media.
That's it.
There wasn't social media. It wasn't that people didn't have an attitude. It was that you didn't have a platform for thousands or millions of people to whine, groan, moan, bitch, and complain like children about some stuff that they now can't change. But when Brandy did come out, when it came out, I remember they called it affirmative action casting. They kept saying, oh, when the NAACP takes over Disney, all of this same animosity you have about the Little Mermaid, what existed for Cinderella. The difference being, unless you watch like certain news channels, and the news was always on in my house, you wouldn't have heard it. And to be fair, a lot of Black households don't watch the news. Like the one girl who said that, I said, well, that's not true because X, Y, and Z. And she was like, well, no, the only people who would remember that then were the white people who were outraged. And I was like, well, I'm not white, I'm Black. And I remember it because it was on the news. And she was like, oh, well, my family doesn't watch the news. That's why you didn't know. It wasn't that this wasn't a thing. It was that you and your family didn't watch the news. And now social media makes it so even if you try to avoid the negativity through not watching the news, Twitter gonna show you, Instagram's gonna show you, Facebook's gonna show you, and they're gonna do so intentionally. And if you don't believe, we had this whole conversation about social media a while ago, algorithms and everything. All you have to do is watch The Social Dilemma, and they prove to you that they send you stuff.
Not prove to these are the people who made up this shit. Will literally tell you what they did.
They follow
they tell you why they stopped working for them people because of what they did.
They tell you that they set up these things for stuff you will engage in. But guess what? If everything you engage in, you agree with, all you're gonna do is hit the like button and keep scrolling. You're not gonna spend that much time. If you're a cat person and all you see is cats, you're just gonna be like, I'm off because I've seen enough cats for today. But if you're a cat person and you hate dogs and you see a dog, guess what they're hoping you do? Click on it, comment, go back and forth with somebody because now you're on it longer. So again, they are literally intentionally showing you stuff to piss you off so that you engage.
TikTok.
That's what they do. That's what they do. So that's what social media has done, is interrupt your peaceful state of mind of the ignorance, because ignorance is bliss for a reason. That statement is true.
It's true.
But if I throw this at you, again, because in 97, there was no social media. So the only way you got what the rest of the world thinks about anything, you literally had to turn on the news or open a magazine or read a paper. And if you decided not going to watch the news, not going to read that paper, not going to read that magazine, you don't see it. So to you, well, when Cinderella came out, nobody batted an eye. But
Yeah,
that's
I didn't know. And and I was probably also because again, Cinderella is one of my faves. And I think that's because I think honestly Cinderella is my mom's favorite and she likes the original version of that. So when that came out, I had already, just backstory, I had already knew the songs. So because I was like, oh, okay. And then because I would watch that and then watch the original animated and be like, completely different song. Sing Sweet Nightingale was not it.
It's not
at all. So just that person, and I'm a musical person in general. Like I love musicals in general. So because of that, when that was coming out, I was more so interested in, first of all, Whitney Houston as the godmother.
better sing. She better sing.
I wanted her to be my godmother. Like I wanted bibbidi bobbidi boo. Okay. I'm just saying. Like, can I bibbidi bobbidi boo and you hear my godmommy? Yay. That. But it for me, that's what it was. So I don't think I ever, if it was a thing, which is why I was like, I remember it being the top rated. I don't remember the controversy behind it because I probably wasn't paying attention because I was too daggone excited because I get to sing these songs. How did they rearrange them? Because I was real deep in music when I was younger, like choir, like I was real deep in music. Although I was going to be a dancer, but that
I mean, you have to have musicality to be a dancer.
You have to. But I was so far into where I could literally tell people when the music was going to switch, and this is this is that and da. But that's
but again, and the other part is
why. So
yeah,
and
it's also age. But again, the news stayed on in my house, which is why it came up. Because when it came up, I remember asking my child, because 10-year-old me was like, I don't understand the problem. Like, because again, as a 10-year-old, I was like, well, it's not about race. Like, I was aware at 10 about race, but to me, I was like, well, Cinderella's not a story about race, so why does it matter what her race is? Like, that was literally my thing. Like, I was confused, and it was one of the first conversations about race I had with my mom, and about external and people's hatred and all this other stuff that I had with my mother, because I was literally like, why are people mad about Cinderella? Well, because Brandy's gonna play her. So, and it wasn't like, if people would have been mad because like bad acting or they thought she wasn't gonna be a great actress, right? But it was like because she's black, and I was like, so she's black and playing Cinderella.
Cinderella was more.
It's a fictitious character about.
But it was also based upon class and your social status.
Right. Like, again, the race has no point in Cinderella. Like, that's why I was like, well, Cinderella's about this girl who was in whatever, and she lost her slipper. They never mention her race in Cinderella ever. So I was like, why is this a thing? Snow White, it's mentioned. Like, I was like, I don't get why are we upset? Why are we here? So that was my first thing. But I'm only bringing that up because I need Black people to remember this thing, because when I hear people say that nobody cared about Cinderella or anything else, I'm like, see, y'all are then acting like racism is new, or I won't even say racism. Y'all acting like anti-blackness is new, and it's not. And we all know this. And again, you're also then not using logic, which I need us to use, because again, you mean to tell me, so 30 years after the civil rights movement, people were more elevated or enlightened than they are? Well, we still have another 30, 60 years after? Like, no.
And systems in place that we have. Now you think it's new?
Right, exactly.
Okay, yes. Did I know that a lot of people was not going to appreciate a Black Ariel? Yes. Yes. I have my own days feelings about it. Like, I mean, I don't think they should have done that, because I like my Ariel the way I like my Ariel. But
I didn't have an issue with white Ariel. As long, again, my biggest thing was the hair color, and they jacked that up.
Good, I guess. But when I think Ariel, I think, like I said,
red hair,
yep. Innocent. But growing up, like, I'm not thinking, oh, she needs to be Black because we need representation. I don't need that representation in a cartoon. I need representation in real life.
Preach. And yes, I think Ariel, I think bright red hair and big eyes.
Representation on these streets. I need representation at the important tables. This dag on cartoon character this fictitious character that's not gonna put no money in or out your pocket. Well,
And
I
that's
ain't gonna
the
say
thing.
out because you will definitely spend money to watch it. You will definitely spend money.
Yes.
All y'all same people will run to the store and buy all the black Ariel dolls and all of that. So I can't say out. But it's not putting no money in my pocket. It's not feeding me. It's not giving me anything that I need that's going to be substantial to my life.
I
need y'all to realize, like,
mm-hmm.
I'm all for us being included. Great. They recognized it. They decided to make Ariel black. Great. Move on.
I didn't want them to make Ariel black, and I want them to stop making them black for this one reason, and this is the truth.
Yeah, only doing it for clout. It's
not even that. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's the backlash, because the backlash is always us. My thing is, make her Latina, make her Asian, make her something else, because we always get the backlash. And I can go into the whole systemic reasons of why, but we don't have that time. But that's my issue. And I said this to my mom. I said, I want them to make her, I wish they would have made her Latina. Afro-Latina if you want to, but Latina. Because let somebody else get the heat. Make her Asian. Let somebody else get the heat. Because the other part is all of these comments keep going, y'all keep stealing, y'all keep blackwashing, y'all keep, as if black people made this. Let me be very clear about something to y'all, real quick. Black people did not make the Little Mermaid 2023 that's about to come out, the live action Little Mermaid. Black people did not make that. We did not make that. Disney is not owned by black people. Disney is owned by a white man. The director of this movie, Rob Marshall, is a white man. The 5 hold please. Hold please. Y'all got the right one, because I am this guy. Let's be very clear. Let's be very clear to all of the people who are like, y'all keep stealing it, y'all and y'all and y'all and y'all. Black people didn't do this. Your director, Rob Marshall, he's white. Your writing credits. So your writers of this, Jane Goldman, white woman. David McGee, white. He's listed twice. Rob Marshall, white. John DeLuca, don't have a picture, but I'm gonna go on a limb and say white. Hans Christian Andersen, because that's the original story. I get it. He's Danish. He's white. The film adaptations in '99, we're not gonna talk about them. Your producers, it's 10 of them. Russell Allen, white. John DeLuca, white. Allison Ehrlichman, white. Rob Marshall, yet again, white. Lin-Manuel Miranda, Latino, Euro-Latino man. Mark Platt, white. Caroline Roberts, white. Jeffrey Silver, white. Jessica Virtue, white. Michael Zimmer, white. That's your production team. Who's else? Your casting, because that's who does this. Your casting department. For the main people, we're not gonna look at the extras because y'all don't care. So the main casting, the UK coordination, we're gonna assume that's there. Sarah Trevis, white. White people made this. White people, stop being mad at black people for stuff your compatriots, your co-patriots, your compadres, your fellow whitians, your fellow Caucasians made, okay? Your fellow white Americans made this movie. They made the decision to put Halle Bailey's African-American behind as Ariel. Them and Lin-Manuel Miranda, the Latino. Nobody black was involved in the direction, production, or casting, or writing of this movie, or greenlighting of this movie. And if there was, it was one. That is not even listed, so they don't even get any props for that. Okay? Stop it. That's my biggest issue. Stop blaming black people for the stuff that y'all do, that white people have done. We didn't cast her. We didn't have a movie to put, like Michelle says all the time, I don't got a heaven and hell to put you in. We ain't have a movie or musical to put Halle Bailey in. We didn't do that. We could, I mean, I'm not, exaggeration, because yes, there's like Ava DuVernay and all that, but we are not running Disney. We are not on the production team. We didn't do this. So stop coming at black people. The average African-American, the average black American, the average us, we're going to support it, but we're going to support Halle Bailey the same way we supported Jodie Benson. We're going to support Brandy and Cinderella, the same way we've supported, I just said her name because I love, what's her name? I just said it. Oh God. Julie Andrews throughout basically her entire career because she's awesome and she can sing her butt off, okay? We're going to support these people the same way we support Adele, the same way we supported Amy Winehouse, the same way we supported the Beatles, the same way people supported Paul McCartney. We are not that hung up. We have supported white people, Latinos, Pocahontas is Native American. We have supported Disney when we were not represented. And even if they had cast Ariel White, I promise you, we still would have supported her then. Had they decided that it needed to be Selena Gomez or Demi Lovato or well, maybe not Taylor Swift. I wasn't gonna see Taylor Swift, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. But you know, some white, I'm not, but some white girl, we would have been like, you better go, Ariel, you better go, boo, because that's who we are. We go to Marvel movies. We've supported Thor. We've supported all of the Avenger movies. We've supported Iron Man. And I'm gonna tell you right now as well, Thor's movies weren't great, but he looked good. Okay. We've supported all of these. We didn't only go to Black Panther. We have supported. So don't be like, oh, well, they only did this for y'all. It's not just us that they did this for. Now, why they did this, if you again want to know, I suggest you take up a petition and ask Disney. But stop coming at the average Black American for stuff that Disney white owned, Disney white directed, Disney white produced, Disney white writing credits, Disney white casting department put together. All Halle Bailey did, and stop coming at her too, because all Halle Bailey did was her job. She's an actress. She went to auditions, rounds and rounds and rounds and rounds of auditions, and got the part. That's her job. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave that there. That's what I got.
Well, I mean, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know we go for a digression, and clearly this was a needed conversation. Do you want to touch on the original topic, or are we just gonna say cheers to that?
I mean, at this point, we don't have time. We're gonna talk about preference versus prejudice some point in 2023.
Well, no, we actually talked about it today, kind of, but we're gonna get like
we talked about it on an entertainment. I was gonna talk about it on a relationship.
Completely off, but we're gonna get like deeper in it on
the relationship side.
1 and 2 in the relationship side on another episode. So y'all just have to stay tuned and come back each and every Wednesday so that y'all can argue with us through the screen. And if you feel that strongly about it, comment below, because we are here for all the conversations. So on that note, we are going to say, ladies and gentlemen, cheers to that.
These promos gonna piss somebody on Instagram off. I already know.
A whole bunch of people. Okay. This Sissy, what's going on with your wine?
So my wine, I don't know if my wine was good or not.
Did you drink it?
I did drink it. It's empty. I just don't know if it was good or not. Okay.
You were on.
I was involved in the dialogue of converse and my rant and rave. Y'all know usually it's Miss Michelle over there and I'm just here for the wine, okay? But today, and I think it's because legit, I've been going back and forth, and this is my bad, and I really need to stop engaging in comments. But I've been going back and forth with people on YouTube for like the past 3 days. Well, no. For like, skip yesterday and the day before, because I was like, I can't. But I've basically been going back and forth with people on YouTube like Saturday and Sunday, because it was the weekend, I had time. So that's when I saw the whole Brandy of, well, they didn't bat an eye. And I was just like, and I literally went and I was like, yes, they did. I said, yes, they did. They said a bunch of different things, but you know, social media wasn't a thing. And then people wanted to keep at me. I said what I said. And then people want to keep justifying, well, it's a Danish story. I can knock that down. Well, they're gonna get this. It's a race in European culture. Let me knock that down, because that makes no sense. Like, and this is the thing. If you want to defend something, go for it. But I need your defenses to make sense.
We always say, make it make sense.
Make it make sense. Like, if it's going to be a good argument, because I'm good for a good debate, But the stuff people saying, you're not even like, what? It's Danish. But y'all ain't have any issue with Sebastian the Jamaican crab. Next. Well, it's going to ruin European culture. So European cultures are predicated on American media. Next. Like, if you gonna come for me, let me tell everybody now, if you gonna at either one of us, be ready. Like, at us with some sense, because both of us, when we know what we know that we do know that we know.
Look, when I know what I know that I know that I can't nobody tell me what I know. Period.
And again, I'm all for the logical. So if you want to come to me talking about it's a Danish, if you come to me, yo, better be airtight. Because again, if I could smack it down in a sentence, it's a wrap. It's a Danish fairy tale. I mean, oh, so where was your attitude about Sebastian the Jamaican crab next? It's gonna ruin, it's erasing European cultures. Boy, oh, the worst one that I got was, I mean, I'm all for inclusion and diversity, but at this point, it's just so much. I said, okay, because again, personal opinion, don't care. This was the line that did it. It's just so much. I mean, at this point, it's abusive. You're not gonna call that abusive when I know people who have been abused. Right, that was my response. And that's what, because initially for that, I was like, I'm not gonna respond. This one chick on there, I didn't even respond because I was like, you, what? Okay. Yeah, you just whole ignorant. I'm not even gonna respond. And the dude there was a guy on there talking about, I mean, this was the WB. No, it wasn't. It was Disney. Disney didn't make it. Y'all, Google is free. Wikipedia is free. And while Wikipedia can have some issues, at least use it as a base to go do some more research. All this stuff is easily accessible. Y'all are choosing to be ignorant at this point. You're choosing to be stupid to stay in the safety confines of what you already constructed in your head. That doesn't mean it's true.
It ain't safe. So I don't know if that's safety confines, because that's not safe. Our brain.
And you're already comfortable. I won't call it safe. I'll call it comfortable. You constructed a comfortable box where Disney didn't make the Black Cinderella. They did. Get over it. And again, at this point, what y'all can do for Ariel, and I swear I'm gonna leave this and talk about my wine that I didn't really get to drink or taste when I drank it. These are your options now. At this point, the movie has been made. You can either go watch it and support,
or don't
and sit your butt at home and do not give them your money. That's the only thing you're speaking with right now is your wallet. Because going on YouTube and whining, groaning, moaning, and complaining and putting in quotes from movies that have nothing to do with anything because you think you're clever and you're not. It may have been clever for the first 1, 2, or 3, but everybody after the 4 to 5 million, y'all are just biters. Y'all are unoriginal biters. I don't expect much better from y'all, but your unoriginal biters do better. Okay, do better. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So but again, that's the only reason that I was like, yo, I got stuff to say because I've been doing
No. I had things to say too. And that's why I was like, I know my opinion's not gonna be popular, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, but again, you're not gonna tell me that inclusion is abusive. Yeah, and that's why I said I said this straight. I said you might be in your feelings. I said it's disgusting to compare having cruelty and violence done to you regularly and repeatedly, because that is the definition of abuse. Check it. That's the definition of abuse. Versus you just in your feelings because you have to share the spotlight, or the spotlight is not solely on you anymore. That's not abusive. I'm sorry, because if that's abusive, then any parent out here who doesn't coddle and who doesn't coddle, especially if you have multiple kids, who gives attention to all of their children instead of just one specifically, is abusive. If that's how we're defining abuse. Then that wife who gives her husband attention and not her child when it's nighttime, oh, that's abusive. The husband who gives his child attention and not his wife, that's abusive. No, it's not. It's called shifting focus, because sometimes you need to shift focus. Stop it. This exaggeration. And let me just say this rewriting and trying to redefine words, we're going to have a whole we're going to have a whole one about that.
And y'all going to be mad at that too.
Y'all just going to be mad. If you come to this couch, y'all.
We're going to call this a little something to be mad about. while drinking wine.
While
Not with you today.
But I'm gonna give it a 3 because I can't go nowhere. I was like, I'm gonna read the back though, real quick. Apothic White is a refreshing blend with bright floral notes. I didn't really taste them as much, and vibrant characteristics of peach and apricot that lead to a crisp, balanced finish. I did get the crisp though; it was crisp. I don't know about the rest of that because I was like focused on something else. But I didn't. I will say this though: I will give it a solid 3. But then it can't be less than that because even if I'm in the middle of talking and it's disgusting, I will not. And I had a healthy 4 when I started.
So that's good. Our California Pinot Grigio is a fresh, crisp, brightening.
What now?
Is fresh, crisp, brightening any occasion with flavors of melon, citrus, and a hint of juicy pear. I can believe that. The pear is what did it for me. I had to stop myself because I don't know if you guys saw me. I did pour a second glass.
I mean, I was ranting. I get that. I usually pour.
No, but not only a rant. Like even if it wasn't good, like I would have been like, "Ooh, that first glass would have been it." But I literally like finished the second one. Was like,
That's a big looking bottle though. I mean, maybe it's deceiving because perspective, but
it's fairly big. It's bigger than your traditional wine bottle. And it is 12.5% alcohol.
Yeah, mine is also 12.5% alcohol.
Okay, so we tied today. I don't feel bad. I don't feel like the baby.
So what's your rating?
I'm gonna give this a 4.
Oh,
I'm kind of tempted to do a 4.5, but I don't know.
I mean, you could do a 4.25.
Let's do that then.
Okay.
Let's do the 4.25. I really enjoyed this. So the fact that now I feel like, oh, okay.
You gonna come with a fresh bottle like I did to the Shoe Crazy?
I might. I'm not gonna lie, because I am gonna have no glasses before I go to bed tonight. But it's also reasonably priced. And that was probably one of my hesitations from getting it from, some of the places that I saw it. I was like, not saying that all wines is some of your more not traditional places or, are bad. But, sometimes a cheap wine is not the place to go. You want to find something in the middle. So for me, this isn't really cheap, but it is more on the, reasonable side. But it's good. It's a really good wine. I enjoyed this.
And what was that? Josh Cellars, what's that?
Pinot Grigio. It's their 2021. It says vintage 2021. It's amazing how 2021 is now vintage. But I enjoyed it. I did. I really do enjoy this. Like, I'm like, okay, now I don't really remember having the Prosecco. So I'm probably not going to go back and taste it either because I'm not a big Prosecco person.
It's good for mimosas.
So now I'm kind of like interested to see like what some of the other ones are. So yeah, a 4.25 for me. And that's what I'm going to leave that. And ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to another wonderful conclusion of this controversial, opinionated episode of A Little Something to Whine About for the culture.
If you are Danish or European, I really want to hear from you in the comments, man. Are we ruining your cultures? Are they dying?
Let us know what y'all thinking. Let us know what you're thinking, why you're thinking it. Let us know what you're drinking. Be sure you join us next week for more laughs, more fun, more conversation, controversial or not. And of course, more wine. Join us live for more conversations and
this Saturday. Hey.
the last Saturday of the month. At live on Instagram and YouTube at a little something, the number 2, wine about at 3 p.m. And until next time, remember, as always,
there's nothing wrong with a little wine or a lot. Because this was a lot of wine.
This was a lot of wine today, okay? So toodles, y'all. We will catch y'all next week.
Thank you for whining with us on this episode of A Little Something to Whine About. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to join us live the last Saturday of every month on YouTube or Instagram. And we'll see you next Wednesday for more fun, more laughs, and of course, more wine.